Aloha. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Not too bad. It's
Yeah.
so sunny right now. Although apparently it's supposed to rain in literally 40 minutes, which is really weird. It's blue
It's
sky
been raining all week here. The weather's been pretty miserable over here
uh,
all week.
on the island.
Yeah, it's not been great. It's been quite depressing this week. I mean, it's not too bad today. I went for a run this morning and it was dry, but it's not looking. Yeah, it's sunny, but it's not warm. I mean, it's nothing on
Yeah,
what it was last week. The weather
yeah.
was so nice last week. And
We
this
have
week
been
it's
quite lucky.
yeah. I can't believe it's May already. It's the 1st of
First
May.
of May, pinch
I
punch,
know.
virtual first
First
of
of
the month.
first of the
No
month.
returns.
I actually can't believe it, like at all.
It is weird. I think it's going. I mean, so far the days seem to be flying by. I don't know about it. It's
Oh my
just
god, yeah! Like this last week for me has literally been the quickest week of my life. Genuinely, I woke up yesterday and thought it was Monday. I genuinely just this week has gone like that for me.
losing track of the
Um,
days.
yeah, literally. Um, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's May. It's
Mad.
busy,
What have
busy.
you been up to this week then?
Um, at the weekend, I gave myself a weekend off because I told you I finished my disc on
Finish your
Friday.
disc.
Got a little
How is
bit
this free
done.
life?
Yeah, disc free life is great, but
Good.
obviously I've got other work to be doing. That wasn't my only task, so now I've got other work to be focusing on. But this week's just been really slow. Work wise, I've just not really been getting an awful lot done.
Mm.
And I started watching this series. I don't know if you've seen it or heard of it on BBC iPlayer called Normal People.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Right,
Loving
so I'm not gonna lie. I think I've fallen in love. Like I'm in love
it.
with the main character. Like I'm genuinely not lying to you. Like I'm head over
Really? What's
heels.
so great about him?
Oh, he's just like a really sweet boy. I'm not the only person. Like our friend who
You've lost your head, mate. You've lost your head.
no, honestly, our friend, who'll be coming on later, our friend Becky, she introduced me to the show, and she kept messaging me like, "You need to watch it. You need to watch it." And it's based on a novel, so I was like, "I want to read the book first. I want to read the book first."
Mm.
I know. Anyway, I finished Line of Duty, so I was like, "Right, I need a new series to watch. I'll
That
watch
is good.
it." And I started watching it, and I texted her after the first episode, and I was like, "Hey, I think I might be in love." And she was like, "Oh my god, same." And then one of my friends from home, she's been watching it, and she's like, "I'm in love with him. I'm in love with him." It's just,
Who
he's.
are you?
I
Do you
mean,
remember who's the politician who you messaged?
don't,
Being
do
like,
not, do not, do
who's
not
that?
repeat this. Do not repeat.
There is a
But
politician out there. Hint, hint.
don't, Fred. Fred, if you repeat this, I'm not going to be listening.
Who's caught
No,
Abby's
no.
heart in the last couple of weeks. I won't mention the name.
But Fred, if you watch Normal People, you would
I need
fall
to
in love
watch
with
it.
him
I
as
need to
well.
watch it.
He is such a beautiful, lovely, sweet boy, and
Okay.
I'm just a little bit in love. So that
That's
has
good.
literally taken up my whole week. I stayed up till 3 a.m. last night watching it.
Oh my lord, you're addicted. You're addicted.
But yeah, that's what happens when you fall in love, Fred. So, you know. What about you? What have you been up to? Fred, you've muted yourself.
No way. Have I?
It's fine.
Am I back now?
Yeah. It's just for 20 seconds. It's fine. Carry on. What have you been up to?
Or we're having. Hang on. Oh no. We might need. 1 sec. What's the break? this is my girlfriend's laptop in German, right? What do I do? You got it. We're back. So, sorry, apologies about that. We're back.
That's okay.
I've been working and just had quite a lot of deadlines recently.
Yeah.
But we've got some more. Do you remember last week we were looking at Vaughan Gething, the Welsh health minister?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he had on Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. So I found a couple more. These are becoming a regular occurrence, these shockers.
Yeah, they are.
So Chris Platzer, Californian planning commissioner, forced to resign this week after throwing his cat across the room during a Zoom meeting.
Oh, I saw
You
this.
heard me, right? Unbelievable. He was also caught swearing and drinking on the meeting with his colleagues. I couldn't believe it. My mum actually sent me this, but should we have a look? It's It's really bad. I mean, it is awful, but it's also, you can't laugh. Is that bad saying that? I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
He just lobs it. Oh, what's that
Absolutely
there?
loved it. See if we can get some sound on there. Sorry about that. Hang on.
This guy's quite comical as well with his mask on. He looks very serious. Oh my god, he literally lobs it. Madness.
Can you hear me? This is...
Yeah, I can.
Good. So yeah, he was forced to resign for that. And then we have another nightmare as well. So, you know, I don't know if you've ever had this. I'm not sure if you had, but I'll get it up here. This guy has gone for the webcam look. So he's gone...
Okay.
But, halfway down here. What a nightmare. So he thought the camera
was
showing his top half. And unfortunately, he's been caught red-handed. So
that is silly.
Nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I also don't really get the, like, just in your boxes. I don't really understand that. I understand if you wanted to wear your shorts or wanted to wear your joggers.
What are you
or
saying?
Something
Extreme, just to go smart and then...
Well, yeah, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but do people genuinely just chill in just their boxes? Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, they do.
I'd say I've never done it, but...
I know people do, but like during the day, I don't really think many people do. So why would you just sit there with just your boxes on your bottom half and then be fully clothed on top? I feel, yeah, I'd feel a bit strange doing that. Even if I didn't think anybody could see me, I'd still think, like, but you know, to each their own. You do what you want.
Each to their own. It's a free country, but I'd also be quite cold if I was doing that the whole day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, your body would be a bit confused because obviously your top half would be quite warm. It'd be like wearing a warm coat and then no trousers, surely. Layered up on one half and then nothing on the bottom.
But I was on Zoom this week, so I've been having my lectures on there.
Yeah.
Have you had any of those yet? Online lectures?
I mean, I've had them. I haven't attended them. I did have them.
Incriminating you here.
Yeah, I did have a seminar the other day, but that was to do with an essay, so I attended that. But other than that,
well, I had the first of mine yesterday, and you get invited on. The lecturer will send you a link. So I click on it, and you know, in Zoom it asks you, do you want to include your video and sound and things like that? So I just don't really think about it. I go, yeah, I whack all of them on. So I'm gone video and sound.
Sound.
And I go on to this lecture, and my lecturer's sort of like, oh, hi, how's it going? And I'm talking to her one-to-one. I'm thinking, this is quite personal for a lecture of, I don't know, 30. Maybe I'm the first one on, I don't know. And then I suddenly realise I'm the only one who's joined with video and sound.
With video.
So I sat there and I'm thinking, oh my Lord, and I flick across because I'm on my phone and you've got like 30 blank screens who are basically just the other people in my lecture who have just decided not to join the video. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm literally exposed.
The only one.
Unbelievable.
To be fair, when I had my meeting yesterday, it was a seminar and there were probably about 40 of us in that. And I'd say maybe 6 people had video on, audio on. But the other people with their video on were my mates, so it was fine. But other times, it's when you join first as well and it's the small talk and it's like, hey, how are you? It's just all really awkward and like tense. But yeah, I mean, it's all well and good doing all these like virtual lectures and virtual seminars, but it can be a little bit awkward.
It's nowhere near. I mean, we were looking last week about the BBC Learning Scheme and like online teaching online and things. It's good and it can do a lot, but it's nowhere near the personal sort of face-to-face teaching.
Oh yeah, yeah.
they're doing is kind of they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing as best they can, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Well, what should we look at this week?
Well, it's been some sort of story in the news, I believe, about UFOs. I think. Very, very interesting story, but it's kind of been a bit. Do you know what? I've not really seen an awful lot about it. I use Twitter all the time. Like, I'm always on Twitter, social media, and this sort of thing, like conspiracy theories and all that, ordinarily would blow up my timeline. You know, you'd see everybody tweeting about it. You'd see all these memes and retweets and all of this stuff. And I hadn't really seen an awful lot about it. I mean, I have, and I've obviously looked at it, but from my own feed, I hadn't seen an awful lot. So I think it's quite interesting to sort of go delve into it, you know, and get some of the finer details, I suppose.
It's a cracking story. So this one came earlier this week. So US Department of Defense released 3 declassified videos of what they're labeling unexplained aerial phenomena. So that's what most people would call a UFO, basically.
UFO,
So the clips were taken by Navy pilots during training flights in 2004 and 2015. Videos leaked in 2007 and 2017 by the New York Times, and then also by an organisation founded by Tom DeLonge, the singer. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, he's founded Blink-182, Fred.
Right, I have to say, no.
That's why I know him. That's why I know him and you don't, Fred. That's our music taste differences.
I looked at him and I was like, nah, not heard of you. But
yeah, I mean, he founded
Blink-182. Right, okay.
He got kicked out though, so a couple of years ago now. I think it was just differences in the group, and they ousted him.
Banging on about it all day.
Yeah.
So the videos were originally leaked. So the purpose of the Pentagon's intervention here was basically to clear things up. So they said they wanted to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that had been circulating was actually real. So it was basically confirming that the leaked videos were actually real. Should we have a look? See what
please
they say for themselves. Okay, that's the
half-naked reporter on Zoom. I love that. That's what you typed in. Reporter half-naked on Zoom.
Yeah. So what? I mean, that will cut to the chase, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Right. So these are the 3 videos released by the Pentagon earlier this week.
What's on the ASA? Oh my gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not LNS though, is it? It's not LNS, dude. Well, if there's another thing.
Wow.
So this is the other one.
Yeah.
I'm less convinced about this one, if I'm honest. Apologies for language.
No, I took an auto card. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
And then this is the final one.
That looks bizarre.
Yeah, no idea what that is. So what do you think about those?
It's interesting really, isn't it? Because like, in all honesty, it all just looks a bit strange, doesn't it? I think it's because obviously the technology that they use in this you know
that was unexplained.
Unexplained
I believe in aliens more than the actual videos. I'm not sure what that was.
But yeah, the way that they, you know, whatever they use to sort of capture the scene makes it just look so strange. Like it does look like it's superimposed onto the sort of video. Do you know what I mean? Especially that first one. It looks like what you would imagine a flying saucer to look like.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it should be on that scene. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It looks like they've just like taken and
stuck it on.
Stopped it on there. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the way that they speak through those, you know how you can hear them talking, that creeps me out. Like the noise, it just reminds me of like airplanes and all of that, and it's just
yeah.
It kind of adds to the sort of spookiness of it, really. But yeah, it's fascinating, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw this thing in the New York Times, and it had a line in there which pretty much sums up where I stand on it. So it said, when people don't know why something has happened, then that does not mean it's happened because of aliens. And that's pretty much where I stand on that. As in, just because it's not explained doesn't mean, you know what I mean? I know we like to sort of think, oh my God, it could be because of aliens and all this stuff. But I feel like when anything is like, as I said, unexplained, people immediately just like reframe it into this idea that it's alien.
Yeah.
What about the million other possibilities that it could be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's where I stand on it. But Donald Trump has been commenting. What's he had to say on the matter?
Well, Donald Trump hasn't actually had an awful lot to say in reality, which kind of surprised me, because obviously it was his sort of government that, you know, released this footage, and didn't have an awful lot to say, did he? But have you seen any of this about what Trump had to say?
Yeah, it was in one of his daily press conferences. And
he said, all he really had to say was, "I just wonder if it's real. That's a hell of a video." Which
also, isn't he the president? So surely he would know.
Surely he knows if it's real. That's what confused me. He's 1 week he's making comments saying, "Oh, we should all drink disinfectant and inject it into our veins," and then all of a sudden his government are releasing footage, and he's going, "I don't know if it's real. I wonder if it's real."
He's like he pretends he's just a member of the public, just sort of like wow, man, that's amazing.
Yeah, the man doesn't really make an awful lot of sense, to be perfectly honest. I don't think he makes an awful lot of sense to a lot of people. But Trump has previously stated in interviews that he doesn't particularly believe in UFOs and aliens and all this, so that could obviously explain his sort of vagueness. And also, he probably doesn't really want to make too much comment on it, because, you know, he doesn't want to put thoughts into people's heads and doesn't want to say too much. But I saw that this week that in Japan, the defense minister in Japan responded in an interview when he was asked a question about the story. And he said that he would like to hear the US Defense Department's analysis and would like to establish procedures in the event that an encounter takes place with a UFO. So, you know, Japan's government seemed to have sort of taken it quite seriously and said, you know what, well, we don't necessarily... Yeah, they're open-minded, and they think, well, you know, we need precaution in place just in case this is a real situation and this is a real issue, but, you know, we're skeptical.
Like the world needs any more issues right now. Imagine that.
Yeah, literally. But as you said, Fred, earlier about Tom DeLonge, the founder of the organisation that leaked the videos, he'd said this week in the New York Times, "This is monumental news that marks the very first time in history the Pentagon has officially acknowledged the existence of unidentified aerial phenomena and removed doubt around the authenticity of evidence in the public domain." He then went on to say, "We believe that this level of recognition is exactly what is required to eliminate the extreme skepticism surrounding UAP events, so we can finally move forward to sharing and analysing reliable data from respected institutions." So, you know, his sort of argument is, you know, there's so much doubt is cast over these, or has been, you know, cast over this footage until now, because people have seen it and gone, "Oh, that's not real, that's not legit, you know, that's just somebody's made up, or, you know, that's not real footage." Whereas now the Pentagon have said it is real, we did capture it. That doesn't mean it's aliens, that doesn't mean that's what it is, but it's legit. And then Joe Rogan, who is, you know, podcaster, but he loves his conspiracy theories, Joe Rogan. I don't watch an awful lot of his stuff, but I have seen some of his stuff here and there. And he is he claims to be a lifelong UFO enthusiast. And in his podcast episode, I think that was released on Monday, he was speaking with a journalist called Tim Pool. And he said his quote was, "This is a weird subject because it's one of those subjects where people automatically dismiss it because it's been so touted by kooks. So many wacky blanks, swear word, that have talked about UFOs that nobody talking about UFOs has to be out. Anybody, sorry, talking about UFOs has to be out of their effing mind," he said. But then when you see these videos and you see them performing these impossible tasks, like these things that are moving in ways that we've never seen before, flipping upside down and sideways, moving at insane rates of speed, like we don't know what they are. And then he goes on to say, "There's no known propulsion system for these crafts. These things are not using fire. They don't have a heat signal. They don't know what they are. They don't know how they work." So he's sort of adding to the point where, you know, we're sort of saying, like, what are these things? You know, it's fascinating. Yeah, it's crazy
than answers with this.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's what it is, because it's obviously unidentified. You can't really say for sure what anything is.
I think that's what's good. Well, that's what sort of captures people's imagination, though, isn't it? Like I think we love it when actually, in a weird way, we don't have the answer, and it's like,
yeah, and then people can just speculate.
You kind of speculate, but you know you're not really ever going to get it. You know, you're not really going anywhere with it. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People make conspiracy theories up about things that are sort of factual. You know, events, things that have got an officially confirmed reason behind them, and people will still not necessarily make up, but will still theorize a different reasoning for an event, if you get what I mean. You know, people still make up conspiracy theories when there have been these sort of confirmed, you know, against these confirmed events. So in this situation, when it is an unidentified object, we don't know what it actually is, it's almost, you know, far more open to interpretation, and more people are going to say, "Oh my god, it's aliens." Yeah, so I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter and social media and in the news. Some people sort of not really thinking it's that groundbreaking a story. You know, they sort of said, well, what does this really mean? And one Twitter user at Stern Shark said, quote unquote, "Officially acknowledging unidentified aerial phenomena is like saying, we acknowledge sometimes we don't know what we're looking at." So he's basically saying that the government have sort of said, yeah, this is footage, but we don't really know what it is.
We don't really know what it is. Yeah, it is.
Have a look at it. If you want to see it, here it is, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what it means. We don't know what it is.
But then there's that question of, like, either they have no idea what it is, and I think they probably just have no idea.
Yeah.
Or there's just more of a hidden layer that's saying, we know what it is, but we're not going to tell you. But but then why would you put the video out? I don't know. I think I think they genuinely don't know what the video is, and they're just putting it out there for transparency, is my guess.
Yeah. Well, former Democrat Senator Harry Reid tweeted in response to the story this week saying, "I'm glad the Pentagon is finally releasing this footage, but it only scratches the surface on research and materials available. The US needs to take a serious scientific look at this and any potential national security implications. The American people deserve to be informed." So he's sort of saying, you know, it's all well and good showing us this footage, but are you going to look into it further? Are you going to, you know, let it be analysed and whatever? But I've seen some sort of comments being made on social media about how this sort of story has sort of barely made the news because of, you know, current situations. One tweet from somebody on Twitter had said, "How massive is coronavirus in our lives? Well, it's so massive that the Pentagon confirms for the first time ever the UFO nature of 3 footages, and basically nobody cares."
Yeah.
Literally, nobody really cares. And then Joe Rogan...
I mean, that's the other thing I thought with the timing of it. Like, it's interesting why they chose now the moment to put out a video or videos like that. I mean, that...
Well, I did see theories on Twitter about how it was maybe sort of a bit of a news cover-up, so that, you know, people would type in the Pentagon and that would be the first story that came up, and there was sort of some more controversial stuff going on in the news regarding the US government, stuff to do with troops being deployed somewhere, But that's
So
just people.
if you ever want to cover your back, basically release a video of UFOs.
Yeah, but
Potentially
similar sort of vein. Joe Rogan, again, who we mentioned before, said on his Instagram page, he posted a video of the footage, and it basically commented on it saying, I think we were all suffering from news fatigue, because any other time in history, if the Pentagon officially released UFO videos that are now declassified, which showed unidentified crafts traveling at insane rates of speed and violating the known laws of physics and everything we know about propulsion, any other time that would be big news. But in April 2020, we barely give a blank.
a blank. Well,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this during the week as well, because you've had news about Brexit this week and the latest round of negotiations for the future partnership. Okay, this is diverging from UFOs, I admit. But again, Brexit is something we used to talk about
all the time,
in every single sentence, pretty much, it felt like.
Yeah.
And another massive news story that has just been pushed right down the agenda.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything, you know, there's so many different stories that have happened over the last few months, you know, the last 2 months or so, even, just big news. And it's just kind of been passed by. And it's like all you ever really see on the news is coronavirus and related stories and lockdown and all of this stuff. And it's just like, mad. I was wondering the other day, you know, at the end of a year, they usually, and this is again on a tangent, but I think it's like the Oxford Dictionary always release like the word of the year. And one year it was like an emoji or something. But I wonder what it'll be this year. Will it be coronavirus? Will it be lockdown? Will it be social distancing? Like
maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it might not be anything.
Maybe lockdown, actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
it might not be anything coronavirus related, but I think it would be, you know, it's the biggest thing that will, you know, it's taken over the whole year, and it probably will be a huge part of our lives for the next year. But yeah, I wonder what
maybe
it'll be.
Zoom will be the app of the, I mean, how big Zoom now? I mean, that will be the thing of the year as well.
I know.
So we're gonna try and get someone on who's gonna, on the theme of paranormal, you know, activity. She's gonna share a story with us about her own experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna see if she's about.
Yep.
But
do you have any?
You've led me right on to. Do I have any? I've got to be honest. Me personally, zilch. Right?
No aliens, no ghosts, nothing.
I mean, no. I have to say I'm quite boring on this front. I used to have. So when I was younger, a woman that used to look after me called Joss, she always claimed that my house was haunted with ghosts. It was one of those sort of, can you picture like quite a thatched cottage house?
Right.
It was like in the middle, well, not the middle of nowhere, but it was in like the kind of countryside area. And she always used to claim it was haunted with ghosts. And I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just a bit of a skeptic, if I'm honest. What about you? Have you had any?
So my house is like my house was built in the 1800s. So I live in like an old Victorian terraced house. And I am convinced, and my mum's convinced, my whole family are convinced that my house is haunted. Just mainly because like loads of really sort of weird, spooky things have happened. Almost to the point where now it's like normality. Like things like, I know things go missing and you misplace things and all that. That's normal. People do that. It's a slip of the memory. But there have been times where I've genuinely had an item, carried it up the stairs, had somebody witness me carry an item up the stairs to my bedroom. I get to my bedroom, do something for 5 minutes, turn around and it's gone. And you're like, where's that go? Where did it go? And then you go on a search, go on a hunt for it, and it's exactly where you first picked it up from. Things like that, like weird little things like that have happened 1,000,001 times. Almost to the point where I'm like, oh, it must be the ghosts have taken it, I've put it back, like that sort of thing. It's all a bit of a joke in the house where things just disappear and things move, with no reason why they've moved. But I have had a few little sort of weird, creepy, and that doesn't really bother me, that sort of things moving around, and that doesn't creep me out or anything. I'm just sort of used to it. It's just normal to me now. But there was this one time where I was asleep in my bedroom, and this was like years ago now, probably about 15 years ago. And I had like an analog radio, so like the old style radios where you have to sort of like dial it on. You sort of spin the wheel to turn it on, and then you like dial it onto a channel.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was asleep in the night, and this radio used to sit in the corner of my bedroom. And I was asleep in the middle of the night, and I sort of woke up in the night. I was having a nightmare, and I woke up in the night, and there was this music playing, this like really creepy sort of, the kind of music you'd hear in the background of a horror film when there's this sort of scary scene going on. Anyway, I woke up in the night, and this radio was just sat in the middle of my bedroom playing. So it was like as if somebody had gone over to it, not just like pressed a button, had to spin a dial to turn it on and then tune it to the right channel. And it was just sat in the middle of my room. And I remember I had to sleep in my dad's room that night because I was so scared. I was convinced that there was a ghost in my bedroom. And also, this next story probably says more about me than it does about my house, because it was questionable because I was so young. But when I was a bit younger, it's probably like 3 or 4, I had a different bedroom, a different side of the house, which is sort of the side of the house that I'm convinced is haunted. And I just sleep in this room, and I just would never be able to sleep. I'd always hear people like talking to me and all this, like weird. And my mum said that one night she came upstairs to go to bed, and I'd made a bed on the landing outside my room. Like I'd taken all my bed in and sort of was sleeping outside my bedroom. My mum came upstairs, she's like, Abby, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? I was like, Mum, there's people in my bedroom, they won't stop talking to me and they won't leave me alone, and I can't sleep. I just want to go to sleep and they won't leave. My mum was like, what? What? So my mum obviously goes in my bedroom, there's nobody in there, and I was like, can you not see them? Can you not hear them? They will not stop talking to me. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was apparently convinced that there were these people that used to sit in my room and talk to me at night, to the point where I had to move bedrooms to the bedroom that I currently now sleep in, because these ghosts wouldn't stop speaking to me at night.
I love how relaxed you are about it though. Like it's just so casual, like like really practical in the sense, I've moved out, like they're talking to me. Can't be bothered anymore.
I think it was because I was so young. That I didn't, I mean, for all I know, it could have just been a complete figment of my imagination. I was a kid, but I was so young that I don't think I really had any concept of supernatural beings and all this.
You were sort of just.
Yeah, I didn't think I had no awareness that there was this thing that people believed in called ghosts that could or could not potentially exist. I just thought, oh, there's just a person sat in my room chatting away to me. And it was 2 men, apparently. It used to always be these 2 men that just used to sit there and chat to me, and then would talk to each other. They'd sit in the corner of my room and just have a little natter, and I'd just sit there like, can you shut up, please? I'm trying to sleep.
So inconsiderate. Unbelievable.
I know. The ghost's just so inconsiderate. Yeah.
I love that. Well, we're going to hear from Becky now, who is going to share a little story with us about her experience. So you can grab her on here. Let the magic unfold. Aha!
Hello. How are we?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. How are you?
Yes, well. Very well. But aren't we all?
Heard you
well,
you've got a spooky story for us, Bex.
Yeah, okay. So the spooky story is that it all starts off with my uncle. He's like some kind of property developer. He like buys old houses, does them up and sells them on and blah blah blah. And the house they live in currently was an old farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere. And when they got it, it was half burnt down, had like black tar on the walls just to like keep it like afloat.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a state. and it was owned by this old woman who she'd lived in one section of the house by herself for years and just couldn't maintain it anymore. So like they bought the house off her and started making it up. But it has like this really weird history. But when they started doing work on the house, really random things would happen. Like they'd be working in one room, and quite often they'd see a man like just walk through the middle of the room. And this wasn't just my uncle, this was like my cousin and like other people that were working on the house and stuff. They'd see like a man just walk straight through the house.
Oh,
They'd
God.
shout over to him and be like, all right mate, how's it going, like can we help you there? And he'd just sort of carry on walking, walk out the other side, and they'd be like, it's a bit weird, like we're in the middle of nowhere, like who's going to be walking around here at this time? And then they'd go and look around the house to see where he'd gone, and wouldn't be able to see anyone anywhere. So it's just all just a bit weird and a bit creepy. Anyway, the house was finished, looked really beautiful, and they moved in. And my auntie and uncle had 3 young children. So one was a baby, one was a toddler, and then one was like primary school age. And when they had the baby, they had like a section by their bedroom where they kept like a dressing room, and then on the other side was like a sort of like a baby's room, like a small room with the cot and everything like that, and so they could keep an eye on him while he was still young. Anyway, one night my auntie woke up, like felt like she was on fire, like just boiling hot, like hot, like in excruciating pain, but there was obviously nothing wrong, and she could hear the baby screaming, and she went in, picked him up, and he was also just burning up, like really hot. And she had to like get them in, like turn the shower on, get them in the shower, and like put it on cold to cool them both down, and they ended up being fine. But the spooky part is that there was nothing wrong. Like everyone else was fine.
Fine, yeah.
It's not like there was anything wrong in the house. Nothing had happened. Like everything was normal. But the part of the house where her room was and the baby's room was is the section where they had the house fire. So that's the whole part of the house.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just a bit creepy. Like a bit
That
weird.
is creepy.
And like they've heard crying in the house that's not their kids, and they've had like my auntie got woken up in the night once with everything off the top of her dresser had just like been thrashed, and like
yeah, that's happened to my sister actually, when she woke up in the night and everything's just all over the floor.
And there's one photo of my nan, who sadly has passed, but this just adds to the story. So one photo of my nan up in the house that so you know when you have a photo and it leans back on itself, really any way of it falling forward, if the photo was to fall over it would fall backwards.
Well balanced. Yeah.
But there's this one photo of my auntie and my nana that every time it falls over it falls face forward, and quite often it's the only photo to fall, so she'll walk past and she'll find the photo face down. And I don't believe her for any of this, but I've like walked past the cabinet where like the tabletop where the photo is to go to the toilet, and it's fallen face down, or I've come out the toilet, it's been face down, and like there's just some weird stuff. And every single member of my family now going to that house has had a weird experience there, and
yeah,
believe her.
I think that's what happens though sometimes when people have these sort of spooky, what they claim to be supernatural experiences, or because they're not always, I mean, I know some people who've had just minor things, like, you know, and people are just like, yeah, all right, okay, and people are a bit skeptical, and then it's not until somebody else witnesses it or somebody else sort of has a similar experience that they're like, oh, okay, I kind of believe you now, like, oh right, okay. Some people just think, nah, it's there's an explanation, and then it happens to them and they're like,
I still think like, oh, surely there has to be an explanation. But
the fire thing is crazy. I mean,
yeah, that's crazy.
I think it's weird enough if, you know, like one person in the house had like woken up and they're really hot. I mean, you can kind of explain that, but
yeah,
also go over to the cot and the baby is blazing hot. That is bizarre.
There's things that have happened as well. They've got like I'm trying to remember all the weird stuff because that's only a few things, but they've got like in the back garden, quite far down, there's like a small sort of lake thing surrounded by trees, and they've got kind of looks like, I don't know what you call it. It looks like a really small bandstand, but it's not.
Right. Oh, they sound like they've got a nice house.
It's really nice, but like it's terrifying. You couldn't pay me to live there. You couldn't pay me to babysit there. I've been asked a lot of times, and I would never do it ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Horrifying. But they have like this small, like, I don't know, it's like a weird tiny looking wooden bandstand thing.
Mm-hmm.
A name, I'm not sure what it is.
Mm.
But so my little cousins have, like, one of them has had this imaginary friend.
Right.
He's an old man, like he's not it's not like a small child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. And he'll like talk about this guy, and he'll say like, oh, I'm going down to the lake because so and so's down there, and he'll run down there and like and things like that. And it's just, and they thought, oh, he's just got an imaginary friend. But then it was like my cousin who's like in his 30s came over with his kids and said something about when he drove up he could see someone down by the lake. Did we know who that man was? And like a couple of my other little cousins have said that like when they've been playing around, like they've seen the man down in the garden, like he's not just like his imaginary friend, like more than one person has seen this guy.
Oh, okay. So there've been witnesses to the man.
Kind of like links to the guy that walked through the house as well, like when they first started building.
Yeah.
Oh god.
All of these weird
site of like unexplained weird occurrences, that house.
Yeah, and I'm sure like there could be an explanation for lots of it. And I also do think that once someone's put something in your head,
that's true.
Your
but
mind starts playing tricks on you.
Yeah, your mind does definitely play tricks on you, I think. But I also feel like there've been multiple times when I've been in my own house, which I'm convinced is haunted, when I've seen things out of the corner of my eye and I'm convinced it's a ghost. And there's been times where I'm looking straight ahead and I see something in my peripheral and I'm like, that is a ghost. That is a ghost. And I'm like, I'm not looking. And I just stare ahead and I'm like, and I just sort of carry on with what I'm doing, because I'm like, if I face this thing, if I look at it in the eyes, it's either going to kill me, which it obviously won't, but I'm just like, I'm just not going to look. I'm just gonna look straight ahead, because I think sometimes it's better to just not know.
You know, my room plant that I have, I've now got it hanging up in the centre of my room at home. And every time like I wake up in the night, I look over and it looks like someone's head.
I
hate that.
It's
horrible. I have that at my house, and that you like look at, if you're in the garden, if you're standing in the garden, you look over to the garden shed, and at night there's just this like little flicker of light that's constantly going on and off. And if you look at it, it looks like a bloke who you can't see, but is smoke the end of like a cigarette. So all you picture this bloke smoking a cigarette, then you freak out, because it's just like flickering up. It looks like the end of a cigarette. That's strange, but I don't know. I think you can.
I get things like that when I've been at uni and then gone home for the first time at home, like here, or vice versa. When I've been at home for a long period of time and I go back to my bedroom at uni, I wake up in the night and I'm a bit confused, but disorientated about where I am. And I'm like, where am I? And then obviously, because my bedroom layout at home is different from my bedroom layout at uni, I'm looking around seeing all these things that wouldn't be there in my the place where I've been for the last few weeks. And I'm like, where am I? What is it? And I'm like, it's a ghost, it's a person. And I start freaking out, and then I wake up properly and I'm like, oh no, I know what it is now.
At my auntie's house, this one that I've been telling the stories about, it got so bad at one stage that my other cousin and her husband and their kids were all staying at the house with them, just like having a sleepover with the kids and just like spending the night there. And my cousin's husband woke up in the morning really early to go to work. I think he had to leave at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and my cousin woke up when he did. And she's such a massive believer in ghosts and like paranormal activity, that when she heard her husband getting out of bed and leaving to go to work, she got out of bed, packed her stuff up, left the house with him, and because she was too scared to stay in the bed with herself.
I do the same. I can sympathise with that. I do exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going, I'm going.
And she was like, I'll go back for them when it's daylight. No one can get me.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I get that.
Well, I want to know what happens next, Becky. So if you can come on and feed endless stories. I think if there's a film director out there, we should tell them about this house, because there is a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuine.
There's
Genuine. Paranormal activity. What's that thing? Ghost hunters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or most haunted, yeah, with that lady.
Yeah, and they go into like the abandoned psychiatric hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff convinces me that ghosts are real. I think if you do not believe in ghosts, anybody who watches those kind of series,
I think.
Yeah, it terrifies me. I could never do that though. If somebody said to me, "I'll pay you £1 million to stay," because some of them spend a night in these creepy places on their own and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody said to me, "I will pay you £1 million to sleep alone in this house that is proven, like semi-proven. You know, we've got evidence to potentially claim that this house is haunted. Do you want to stay here for a night for £1 million?" I'd say no, absolutely not.
You wouldn't get a wink of sleep. You just be up all night.
I would be a nervous wreck.
Yeah. Anyway, Becky, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Have a good weekend. I think you might have to leave. I don't know how to kick you off.
Don't you worry.
Is that all right? Amazing.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, Becky.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Love that.
Wow. Love that.
Yeah.
That's
scary though.
That's gonna give me nightmares tonight.
Yeah.
I love
creepy
as well. It's one of those where it started off and there's a couple of things like, what's going on here? But it's got like a million different weird things going on in one. That house, honestly, unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't want to be living there myself. I mean, my house is pretty haunted, but there was never a fire and all that jazz behind it. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, what have you got for me? I feel you've got a quiz on the horizon.
I do have a quiz. I do.
Okay.
Do you happen to have a pen and paper on you handy?
Do I? Can I do it?
Actually, you might not need a pen and paper. Actually, it's fine. I'll take a score. Score.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got, I think, 5 questions for you. And they are all. Did you say something?
You know.
If we said hello, I was like, hi, yeah.
Hello.
Yes, I've got 5 questions for you, and they're all sort of based around the theme of aliens, UFOs, all that paranormal-y sort of stuff that we've been talking about. So, question number 1.
Okay.
I'll give you this. This one doesn't have an A, B, C, or D. This is the only one without an option. But if you need a clue, I'll give you a clue. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what term that's obviously related to UFOs has the definition an unidentified flying object, originally one of a kind, reported by US pilots during the Second World War, usually described as a bright light or ball of fire? Okay, so the clue is that it is synonymous with the name of a US rock band.
Oh Lord,
and think of US rock bands that I really like.
Oh,
It's 2 words.
Oh my Lord. Can you go over the start of the question again?
Of course. So what term, this is the definition, what term has the definition, an unidentified flying object, originally one of a kind, reported by US pilots during the Second World War, usually described as a bright light or a ball of fire?
Oh. I was about to say chili peppers then. Hey, I don't think they're even American, are they? No. Chili peppers.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, that's so wrong. I'll kick myself, but I can't.
You will really kick yourself.
I'll kick myself.
It's a band.
It is on the tip of my tongue.
Okay. Does
Right, I
Dave
think go
Grohl
on
mean
to question
anything?
2 and I'll bear it in
No,
mind.
no, I'll give you another clue. Does
Okay.
Dave Grohl mean anything to you?
Yeah,
Do
see,
you
the
mean-
thing, it does, but it's
I'm really disappointed in you, Fred.
this is poor. This is really poor.
Okay. Well, we'll go back to that one because it might spring to your mind.
Okay.
Okay.
You went to see them recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times, but I saw them
Yeah.
last summer. I think it was the last time I saw them.
And it's 2
Don't
words.
if Tasha's giving you clues. Is Tash giving you
No,
clues?
no. I brought
Okay.
no. Wait, what is it?
It's 2 words,
2 words. Okay.
and they both begin with the same letter.
This is ridiculous. Right, I reckon move on and.
Okay. Okay. So number 2, which state is Area 51 located in? Do you need clues? I can give you
Which
clues.
state? Nevada.
Okay. Correct. What planet? So number 3. What planet in our solar system is the one that is most commonly mistaken for a UFO? Is it Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, or Uranus? No, apparently not.
No.
Apparently,
I've jumped the gun.
Apparently
What is it? Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Oh my.
Yeah, I think it might be the colour of it.
Rings, isn't it? Is it?
I'm not sure. I think it might be the brightness of it, maybe.
Oh, I'm thinking the actual shape. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Next one. A UFO sighting is classified as a close encounter if the object or any entities associated with an object come within how many feet of the witness? Is it A? Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't put down. Hold on, give me a sec. Is it A 50, B 25, C 500, or D 100?
And that's you just made those up on the spot.
No, I haven't. It's that I've not put down which one's the right answer. It's that I've not put down which one's the right answer, but I've got a link, so I think it might.
And that's how. What's the measurement we're doing again?
What distance it has to come within somebody for it to be
I'm gonna go
close
I'm
encounter.
gonna go 100.
Okay.
And the answer is, hey Siri.
Oh God, I've really messed this one up. Okay, we'll come back to that one because I forgot to put the answer, but I think it was 25. I think it was 25 feet. But if not, then
we'll just have a guess.
Yeah, we'll just have a guess. Okay, so finally, the earliest record that related to unusual aerial phenomena in the world was when? Is it A, 1561, B, 100 BC, C, 1450 BC, or D, 1235?
BC?
Yeah. No, 1, 2, 3, 5 that year.
He's adding numbers now.
No, I promise you that these are options. I just couldn't remember how to say the number.
Okay.
The year 1235. Okay, so is it A?
Recent 1500. Oh,
No, Frank.
Mate,
it was 100 BC. So it says here, the earliest known report of a UFO sighting was by Julius Obsequens, a Roman writer in 100 BC. He claimed to have seen things like ships in the sky over Italy. Some people also believe that the Old Testament book of Ezekiel contains a reference to UFO sightings.
See, I think that's actually crazier back then when you didn't have aircraft and things like that. That's
what I find fascinating.
There's like less options.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's almost like, well, how did they even come up with that concept if it sorry, I'm trying to find out the answer to the question about the close encounter. I think it was 25 feet.
I went 100.
Did you go for 100? Okay. Well, Google doesn't want to tell me the answer, so that's great.
We'll throw it out there. If anyone else knows, just put it below.
I think the answer that I saw was 25 feet. And that's what I'm going to say the answer is.
I'll give
I
you
could
that.
be
Okay.
entirely wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, Fred, you did all right there.
I didn't do great, did I? I think I got less than half.
I think you got one right. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to question one. And then we'll see if you can get this.
Still not come. I'm throwing in the white flag. I have no idea.
I'm really upset about this, Fred.
Basically.
Okay, so the term that has the definition, an unidentified flying object originally one of a kind reported by US pilots during the Second World War, usually described as a bright light or ball of fire, which is also synonymous with the name of a US rock band, is Foo Fighter.
Foo Fighters.
I'm furious, Fred. My favourite band in the world, and you've just completely forgotten it.
Believe it. I think the pressure's got to me.
Yeah, okay.
Taking outside this scenario,
or maybe our friendship's just not as strong as I thought it was.
That is 2 peas in a pod. What? That's a load of rubbish, mate.
Well, yeah, exactly. Not happy, Fred, but I'll let you off.
Not good. Anyway, it started to cloud over. So that rain I was talking about at the start of the video is on the horizon.
On the horizon. It's pretty cloudy here as well. I won't lie. I'm glad I got my run in this morning, actually. I've been doing Couch to 5K. So like each day, it's like a podcast, and each day or each run you do, it sort of builds you up to be able to run a 5K like well, as in not have to stop every few minutes and all that. Because so it starts you off like you build you up. So you do like a few minutes running at a time, and then you have a walk break, and then whatever. Anyway, this week is my heavy week where it gets to like running for 25 minutes straight. So I did that this morning. I woke up, overslept, realised it was 11 o'clock, and I'd set my alarm for 9 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up at 11, like in a blind panic, as you do, when you wake oversleep and you're like, oh!
Yeah, you can sense it. You know when you've overslept. You just have this like sixth sense.
You have a feeling, and it's just that you go to check your phone, and you're like, please don't be too late. Like,
don't be 6 in the evening, please.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? There was this one time where I was still in school. I can't remember what year I was in, but I was in like uniform, like secondary school, but I was still in that school uniform, so I wasn't in sixth form yet. And we'd been on holiday somewhere, like the US, I think, and got back. And then on the Friday or over the weekend, we got back. And then on the Monday, I was going back to school, and I was a little bit jet lagged, as you are when you travel. I think we'd been into the west coast of America as well, so there was a big time difference. I was very jet lagged. Anyway, I woke up on the Monday that I was supposed to be going back to school. I woke up and my school day finished, I think, at about 3:15. I woke up and it was 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, no.
And I woke up and I was like, oh my god. I rang my mum and I was like, Mum, why didn't you wake me up? Because my mum never used to wake me up for school in the morning. It was like my responsibility to get myself up for school. And I was like, why didn't you wake me up? I can't believe it. I overslept. And she went, I was wondering why the school were ringing me all day. Because they obviously were ringing it for a truancy call because I hadn't turned up to school. And she was like, yeah, I did wonder why they were calling me all day. I just kept ignoring it. So I have done that and we've overslept by a landslide. But hey,
we've all been there, Abby. We've all been there.
We have all been there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Right, I better go.
Yeah, I better go as well. I've not done any work today.
Before we go, everyone, watch out. The government is about to announce whether they've met their 100,000 a week or a day tests that they set for the end of this month. So watch out for that. We might discuss that next week.
Yeah, we might.
They did 81,000 tests yesterday that they announced.
Right.
So whether they'll get to 100,000 tests a day, we'll see. Talk about it next week.
We will see.
All right, have a good week.
And you. See you soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.